Welcome to FedScoop TV and our series on hybrid IT. I'm your host, Wyatt Cash, and we're here today with David Wray, the Chief Technology Officer for the Public Sector at HPE Software. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Wyatt.
I'd like to, before we get started, ask your view of what hybrid IT really means in today's context.
Sure, thank you, Wyatt. Well, a lot of people, especially in federal agencies, are confused about the terminology with hybrid IT. It's a lot like where cloud was maybe 6 or 7 years ago. Hasn't been very well defined. The way I like to define hybrid IT is the focus on moving workloads around efficiently and having the flexible capacity that you may need within your private cloud, within your agency, to leverage workloads in a public cloud or even a shared, federally approved environment, such as some of the FedRAMP infrastructure as a service offerings that are offered in the industry today. Okay.
Well, and be interested, you call on many agencies, have kind of a global perspective on a lot of the activity. How should agencies embrace a hybrid approach to better serve their citizens and conduct business internally, in your view?
Well, in my view, it's about being fiscally accountable to your taxpayers, to your citizens themselves, and it's best if government can make sure that when they make the move to hybrid cloud, they're doing it for the right reasons. A lot of times they may rush into using a service provider or even a SaaS provider to save cost, when in reality it's not the best application or use of hybrid IT. So if you should do your assessment first, do your reviews first, and then make the decision on which workloads or which applications are best suited to move into a shared environment. And it's usually the applications that provide better flexibility for capacity on demand, where it would be expensive to have that infrastructure laying idle in your private cloud environment or on-premise if it's only being used occasionally, like during tax season or during a census, for example. Those workloads would be very good workloads to leverage a flexible capacity model in a hybrid environment.
What else does a hybrid IT model enable an agency to provide customers that an alternative or more traditional model would not?
Well, I think it's really the flexible capacity that we just talked about, and also the ability to automate and move workloads around if you need to for commodity-based services. It could be storage, or it could be better network bandwidth or better access. Typically, when you have a lot of collaboration requirements in your environment, they may lend themselves better to cloud in general. And so some of those use cases where you may have to conform with the Data Act or share specific pieces of information, it may be best to put that into either a private or a public cloud environment and then automate those workloads so that you don't have to maintain that on-premise. But it really should be about the cost savings first. It should, and the governance. It should not be about simply trying to move to cloud because you're mandated to do it through either a cloud-first initiative or because you're trying to, let's say, punt the football for things like cybersecurity and IT asset management, some of the things that you really need to do, regardless whether it's on-premise or in the cloud. That's something you're accountable for in most agencies.
And how does hybrid IT fit into the overall IT strategy at agencies, or what would your advice be to help them and help agencies really transform their IT operations?
Well, I think it's critical when you have an IT transformational plan to first look at your inventory and your assets and align them closely with your business and mission capabilities. The last time I checked, I think GIO produced a report last year that only 2 civilian agencies could align their applications directly to a line of business, let alone a business process or business service. So agencies need to first define what their hybrid cloud needs are, but the best way to do that is to assess their existing applications as they exist today in their enterprise, and then figure out where their redundancies are and where there's opportunities for rationalization, which stimulates a lot of the transformational activities that are also required. Over the last 8 or 10 years, we've had a whole lot of data center consolidation. And I think a lot of those efforts, some were successful, but many agencies had false starts mainly because they didn't understand their inventory, they didn't understand their assets, and they built data centers before they understood their capacity needs. So if you want to right-size your data center consolidation initiative and you want to be able to rationalize and optimize your IT needs, the first step is really with that baseline inventory assessment, and then being able to right-size your hybrid IT needs as well as your private infrastructure or data center that the agency may be running today. Most of the federal agencies I work with all have their own data centers, or always probably keep their own data centers, and they're leveraging hybrid strategies for very specific workloads where they see value. Certainly not there yet. I'd say probably less than 10% based on Gartner's estimates today have been made a move to cloud, let alone hybrid IT. And then the second piece of advice is ask for help. A lot of vendors like HP have done this with our commercial partners. We've built very specific offerings for implementation of the transformational needs that are outlined in FITARA, which can help agencies a lot with that cost model. So we have offerings for data center automation to align with the data center optimization initiative that OMB pushed out, or to align with your software asset and IT asset management needs that were being mandated on agencies through category management or through the Megabyte Act. Those are the types of things that, if you're struggling with that within agencies, they can reach out, and we have solutions that can actually fast forward a lot of those initiatives to help out. So ask for help.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Thinking about your kind of exposure working with commercial customers, even though I know you're primarily in the federal space, as you look ahead over the next couple of years, how do you envision that hybrid IT will evolve, how it will impact IT strategy, and where do you see government itself evolving and being able to adopt the hybrid model?
Well, I think there's two things that are very exciting for me when I look forward in the future. One is composable infrastructure. And the biggest advantage with that will be optimization of memory, which we've never been able to do before. We've been able to optimize storage, and we've been able to optimize other utilization aspects of IT, but not memory. So composable infrastructure will allow us to create compute just in time and share resources like memory and storage and compute across workloads, which to me is quite an efficiency within IT. So I predict in a few years there'll be software vendors, service providers that have specialties with memory optimization, much like we have with storage today.
Interesting.
And I think that'll be an interesting play to see. The other thing I think people miss, we've made this large push towards SaaS offerings, especially in the federal space. But I think a better model for most agencies is a subscription model, not SaaS. So they can still obtain the advantages of SaaS by using their O&M money or their service dollars to rent, more or less, software, and it will reduce the friction of installing and setting up software. But also for software that's offered on a subscription basis, a lot of it is based on new techniques, such as using containers and microservices. So upgrading on-premise enterprise software will be very simple, much like updating an application on your cell phone today. If that occurs in the next few years and we move to subscription model with and composable infrastructure and software that's available in containers and microservices, it's almost very effective and cost effective for agencies to engage with those models, and then also leverage things like SaaS for true commodity activities, document management and email, and things that may provide a better cost model for agencies. So I guess we'll see.
I think we will. Well, David, thank you for stopping by and sharing some of your vision for how you see this unfolding. And certainly there's a lot of exciting opportunities that hybrid IT can bring to government agencies.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Yeah, terrific. On behalf of FedScoop TV, I'm Wyatt Cash. Thanks for watching.